The universe is a wondrously large place. Huge. And yet, ironically, where we have come to find intelligent life is on a teeny, tiny, itty-bitty little sliver of what the universe has to offer. If you think about it, most of the universe is inhospitable to life. Most of what's out there can't support life. Certainly can't support intelligent life. Even on our own planet, there is a small percentage of the surface of the earth that supports life, intelligent life. Without the help of human technology that we have devised, there's not much on this earth's surface where life does exist. Think about the wonder of it all. That in order for life to exist on that small little area of our planet, so many things had to come into line. First of all, we have a star, our sun, that is about the right size and the right temperature and the right age with the right kind of light. And then our little planet is just far enough so that the ocean waters do not boil or freeze. We're only talking about 100 degrees here. Just a little bit closer, like Venus, it would be too hot for anything to live. Too far, like Mars, frozen over, incapable of maintaining life. But here we are, and even more miraculously, it's full of water that sustains life. And then we've got this giant shield orbiting our planet, the moon, which if you look at is pocked with craters. It has taken the brunt of interstellar ammunition against us. Out beyond Mars, what do we find at the asteroid field? Another line of defense. Anything heading our way has to pass through that and is often taken out. Beyond the asteroids, we meet 4 gas giants, large gravitational pull. These planets do the same thing. Their gravity pulls in objects hurtling through space that would bring an end to life on Earth. Our solar system is designed so that life can exist on our planet. Even if we were to find another planet like Earth, would we find another solar system like ours to protect it so that life could exist? In order for life to exist, there must be not just the right ingredients, but there must be something protecting those ingredients. There has to be something shielding and surrounding. I am sending you out like lambs among wolves, Jesus says to his disciples. It's a dangerous place out there. It is inhospitable to life, and it is inhospitable to Christian faith. I am sending you out like lambs among wolves. And so he doesn't send his disciples one at a time out on their journey, but rather he sends them out 2 by 2. Go with someone. Be a community as you go. Rely on one another. Strengthen one another. Be a source for the other person. Be a protector for that person. Because where I am sending you, it is dangerous. And those disciples that lived in Jesus' time would have known even just the physical dangers. Going from village to village, town to town in the arid desert region of Israel. They would have known the dangers that were there. Jesus tells them, don't talk to anyone along the way, because the way is full of murderers and bandits and robbers. Get to where you are going. Focus on that. You need to be safe. I want to protect you. And the way Jesus protects us is the way God has protected us in our solar system. He has surrounded us with a mechanism to provide support, to provide protection, and to give us something that will nourish us and have life. And that is the church. The church is our defense against the world, is our defense against the serpents and the scorpions that are out there. It is our defense that allows us to grow and live. We hear the prophet this morning speaking the praises of Jerusalem. O Jerusalem, how wonderful you are in the midst of this inhospitable and rocky terrain. As we pilgrimage through the land, we come upon you rising out of the desert, and there Jerusalem is to protect us, to sustain us, to give us life. We can be safe within her walls. She's like a mother that holds us in her arms and nurses us at her breast and feeds us and gives us strength and warmth and comfort, and we don't have to fear. That Jerusalem is an image of the heavenly Jerusalem, which is already foreshadowed in the image of the church. The church today is the new Jerusalem, that place that gives us protection. We realize that as we stray from and outside the walls of the church, we find ourselves in danger. It is only by being one of Jesus' disciples who remain in communion with one another that we find salvation, that we find safety. Again, Jesus doesn't send them out on their own. He sends them out in communities, in communion, 2 by 2. And even though they are separated by distance, they are joined by a common mission. So the 72 are bound together, and all those that they will touch are bound together. There is the protection as they are rooted in Him. And as you and I find our place in the church today, we recognize that indeed we need the church for salvation. On our own, it is impossible to find God. On our own, it is impossible to arrive at God. On our own, we will succumb to temptation, sin, evil, and we will be pounded by it. But in the church, we find strength, we find encouragement, we find hope. We find life when the world deals us death. We find hope when the world tells us to despair. We find what we need to give us life, food for the hungry, food that will lead us on that journey and carry us to the heavenly Jerusalem, the place where we really belong. The journey is a dangerous place. The world is a dangerous place. Not kind to life, particularly intelligent life. Which is why in ancient cultures, what a horrible punishment to be banished from your city or your town. To be banished from the country, from civilization. There is no protection. I cannot live on my own. And surely it is a life of fear, a life of distress, and a life that will eventually lead to a premature death. To place ourselves outside of the arms of Holy Mother Church, we find ourselves alone. We find ourselves unable to really know God. We find ourselves disconnected, and ultimately we find ourselves dead on some road that goes to nowhere. We have been given a great gift. God has designed the universe and our solar system and our planet so that on this tiny little sliver, life may exist. The narrow gate, the narrow way, that narrow path, as St. Paul says today, is the shape of a cross. I rejoice in the cross, Paul says. I rejoice in the wounds of Jesus Christ, because in those wounds I can hide. In those wounds I find protection. Those are the wounds that cast away all that evil. Those are the wounds that push all of that which wants to harm me and destroy me away. And in that I can boast. That is my salvation. That is my Savior. That is what makes me safe. And that is who has gathered me together with you and with all the saints and with the entire people of the heavenly Jerusalem. We have been given a great, great gift. God has designed this family, His church, to protect us. We give thanks to Him today for that great protection. And we come here to feast upon the food that will give us strength for the journey. It's amazing how inhospitable the world and the universe are to life and to faith. So remain close to Holy Mother Church, the Jerusalem, where you can rejoice in her lap, nurse at her breast, be fed for the journey, and find yourself one day in that kingdom where there is now nothing more to fear, for we will have made it home, and God's peace truly will rest upon us.